Hello everyone. So Ukraine has shared a new video strikes on air defense systems, and this is a good video. So we start with a bang, literally, as we see a Russian S-400 launcher getting hit by a drone whilst it's moving across a field. This S-400 was definitely fully loaded at the time, as the ammo detonates and we see a huge blast. Spoiler alert, the S-400 takes so many Rogerins in this video, but even Bonnie Blue gets jealous. The next strike we see is on a Buks system. This is hit twice. The first drone hits with a Buk on the rear, causing a huge blast, which is caught by a second drone about to hit it as well. Now after the Buk, we then have a strike on a Panzer. The Panzer is doing its usual method of intercepting drones by getting in the way of them. This one, the radar seems to be tracking a drone as you can see it sort of wobbling around, but sadly for the Panzer, it's not tracking the one that hits it. Our next clip is a strike on a Tor M2 short-range SAM system. The destruction of a Tor is confirmed by a second drone, which spots the detonation as it flies overhead. Now this next clip is a good one of my favourites here. So drone enters a hardened shelter, which has two Panzer SAM systems, a Kamaz truck, and a couple of unidentified vehicles inside. Looks to be around 5 vehicles in here in total. And then another drone nearby sees this entire warehouse burning after the drone strike. This is at an airbase in Crimea. Now, if this was bowling, I think this would be called a strike. I expect the Panzer was fully loaded and detonated inside, causing this massive fire that we can see. Next up, we're back to the S-400 again. A more important target than the launcher here is that the radar's been hit, but not as flashy, as these don't detonate as well. Two separate radars, presumably from the same battery, are hit here. The reason these are more important than the launcher is because the S-400 battery has multiple launchers, up to as many as a dozen, but only one of each type of radar. So take out the radar and you knock the entire battery offline, whereas hit a launcher and the rest can still operate. Launchers do give a much more impressive boom though, and are easy to destroy because if the missiles detonate then the entire launcher is destroyed. Next up, a nice little strike on a moving Tor M2 which has its radar spinning. And then a strike on an S-300V launcher, which is erect and ready for action. Just like Putin, though, it fails to perform, though I have my doubts that Putin can even reach the erect point. A Buk M2 is next, getting hit on the side. Another radar is shown getting hit here, this one folded away. This has been identified as being the radar of an S-300V SAM system, which is then followed by another radar of an S-400 SAM system. Then we have an S-350 launcher and another element of the S-400. There's a cluster of S-400 vehicles here all in one place, and I can't tell if the one hit is a folded up radar, a launcher, the command vehicle, or the power generator vehicle. Given the close proximity of them though, maybe all of the elements here took some damage in this drone strike, so this was a good strike as well. Next up, a nice target here hitting a Buk M2 radar, which is fully deployed with its mast sticking up. Now, presumably fully destroyed with its mast not sticking up. An odd one here, an unusual one in a rare vehicle. A Gamma DE radar unit getting hit. I'll cover what this is later. It gets hit in the radar dish. Then a rather rare target, a Zu-23-2 AA gun mounted in the back of a truck. Next up, a nebo-m lurking in Dogger's Woods gets hit by a drone. Then yet another radar of the S-400 system. This is destroyed because a follow-up drone records it burning in the woods. Next, another rare radar, the ST-68 tin shield. Now, an odd one. A drone strike on a dome, presumably with something inside. A radar, but an unidentified one. I am surprised that the vehicle outside wasn't hit instead, to guarantee a successful hit. But there is a big blast, so presumably what was inside was destroyed. And I'm guessing what was inside was a bit more important than whatever that vehicle was. Nebo makes another appearance here, 4 drone strikes in quick succession, but it is a bit hard to tell if these are all individual Nebo radars hit, or some of them are the same one being hit multiple times. Next up, a P-18 Terek radar mounted on a truck is next, a nice little strike here. And then another rare radar type, IL-125 nebo-m SV radar takes a direct hit from a drone, followed by another Nebo. I reckon Bonnie Blue is going to be getting jealous of these two given the Rogerins these have taken. 3 more Nebos hit here. Followed up by a Tor M2 hiding in a hole, which we see burning by a follow-up drone strike. So this one, we can safely say, I think, is completely destroyed. And then, would you Adam believe it? Another Nebo radar gets hit by a drone. And after the Nebo, a 50 N6E radar of the S-350 SAM system. Then, surprise, surprise, the Nebo makes an appearance again. We see another rare radar unit, a Protivnik GE radar getting hit. And finally, we finish off this compilation video by seeing, you guessed it, more strikes on Nebo radars. 2 more get hit to round things off. So this was an excellent video. Now, I must clarify that these are not from this year. These are all strikes from 2025. But I believe they are all, or at least most of them, new strikes here that we haven't seen before. So, Warspotting and Oryx are going to have a long night tallying these losses and adding them to the list. So now that we've seen the video, let's go through each system and see what they are. We'll start with the S-400. So in the video we saw 1 launcher, 4 radars and 1 unknown S-400 element getting hit. So pretty good work. It doesn't know how many S-400s Russia has exactly. They have 50 battalions, each battalion featuring 2 batteries, and each battery has at least 4 launchers, sometimes more. And I think it very likely they also have spare radar systems in reserve as well, in case some are destroyed or down for maintenance. So Russia does have a lot of these, and it is hard to say for certain how many are destroyed. Warspotting shows 37 various S-400 systems, but a good number haven't been added. Once from videos like this, where we see a drone impacting the launcher or radar, but no spotter drone records the impact. So the true number is higher. We have seen S-400s hit by the FP1 drones in Crimea, for example last year, which didn't get added. So the true number is well over 50, maybe as many as 60 or more. Not to mention, of course, we don't see every strike. This video is proof of that, as these are mainly new videos of strikes that we haven't seen yet, and all of these are hit in 2025. So, Ukraine is hitting more SAM systems than we know about. Next for Buk, we saw 2 launchers hitting the radar. As with the S-300 and the S-400, the radar is the key bit, as launchers and the batteries share just 1 radar. Russia had 310 Buks in service, but these have been hit hard. Over 130 up on Warspotting. But as with the S-400, the true number is high as not every loss in the video we have seen before has been added onto Warspotting. Notably, the FP1 strike drone hits. These are Russia's main mid-range SAM system, and because of Ukraine's strikes, we've seen S-300Vs push forward into the mid-range SAM role. And as they are designed for ballistic missiles primarily, they're not really suited for the job. Panzer next, the short-range SAM system, which Russia thinks highly of for some reason, as these are assigned to protect Putin's palace. 116 in service at the start of the war, but deliveries have continued throughout the war. These aren't seen near the front line much, as they tend to protect key targets, like Putin's palace and air bases, so they are a bit rarer. The Tor is this, another short-range SAM system, over 60 listed on Warspotting so far. Russia had around 130 in service at the start of the war, but more have been delivered since. And here, the S-300, another long-range SAM system. In this video, we saw a launcher and radar being hit of the S-300V. This is a mid-range version of the S-300 designed for ballistic missiles. We're seeing them more often in Ukraine this year, well, last year actually, because of high losses of the Buk. These are filling the gap. I don't know how many radars Russia had, but of launchers, they had 1,900 S-300 launchers and then an additional 200 of the S-300V variant. Next, the S-350, a mid-range SAM system of Russia's are much rarer than others. We don't see them in Ukraine often, and they're quite new, entering service in 2019. Warspotting has just 1 listed, but we saw 1 get destroyed a few weeks ago that hasn't been added, and then these 2 here. So they are quite rare systems, but seem to be making more of an appearance in Ukraine. These are assigned to the Russian Air Force, which may be why we don't see many destroyed. 1 Zu-23 2AA gun was hit in the video mounted on a Kamaz truck. Russia has a lot of these, so I don't have the exact numbers. 20 shown as destroyed so far, static ones, plus 7 mounted on Kamaz trucks like this one. Interestingly, this is the first Zu-23 on a Kamaz truck, destroyed and listed on Warspotting since October 2022. Radars now, and I won't do the numbers with these as many haven't been added to Oryx because they're often hit by FP1 and FP2 drones, which don't have spotter drones alongside them. Plus, for many of them, it's unknown how many Russia actually has. So the Gamma D was hit. This is a mobile acquisition and air surveillance radar. It can be integrated into the S-400 system. Interestingly, the crew can operate this from 15 kilometers away. This is the second destroyed so far. The Nebo next. 13 Nebos got hit in this video, although some of them may have been strikes on the same system. It was hard to tell. There are a mix of radar systems which Russian Ministry of Twaddle says can detect F-22s and F-35s. This is Russia's most widely used radar, as shown by the number destroyed and hit here. The P-18 here, an early warning radar from the 70s, and then the ST-68 Tin Shield, a Soviet-era radar designed to detect targets at low altitude. So, a good target as these may have been able to detect drones and storm shadow. May is the key word here. It's really unlikely, considering how useless Russia's equipment is. But it's a possibility. This one used the tried and tested method of detecting a drone by getting hit by it. It may have actually been decent in its day though, because NATO was apparently considering adopting this radar from East German stockpile after the fall of the Soviet Union because of how resistant it was to jamming. They decided not to because of the difficulty of getting spare parts. Finally, Russia's newest radar, the nebo-m SV, designed for use against small and low observable air targets with a 500-kilometer detection range. But that may be the Russian Ministry of Twaddle talking again. So, a very nice compilation of strikes here. And remember, these are unseen, mostly, videos from 2025. At least, I don't really recall many of them. None of them rang a bell with me, well, there may have been some which I've lost track of, as there's been so many SAM systems hit last year, I can't remember them all. Certainly the S-400 getting blown up by a drone, for example, is one I'm sure I didn't see before. But a nice compilation of losses. Ukraine has been hitting Russian SAM systems hard. Now, before we finish, a quick mention here about a fundraiser that United 24 is doing. An urgent one to buy AI-controlled air defense turrets called Sky Sentinel, demonstrating this little video here, which are designed to protect Ukrainian cities from Russian drones, which hit them on a near nightly basis. So very important fundraiser. The information is in the description. Big thanks to everybody helped out so far. Thanks for watching the video too, and take care everybody.